Valiant boys back again, man, with another episode. We're previewing the Michigan versus Purdue game. I'm here with my co-host, Pengame. What's good, bro?
What's up with you, my brother? You already know, man. Didn't I say something last week about we get a touchdown, come back, get a stop, defense gets forces a stop, we get a field goal and be up 10-7. Did not say that, y'all, last week. I said that will help the defense play with confidence. After that, that was my statement. I went back and checked it. See, y'all in the right place.
You did say that, man. You was right. You was right, man.
And that's why the turnover buffs, y'all. We got two turnovers, like I said, also. So turnover buffs are broken out today.
hmm Look, man, we kind of figured that game last week was going to be it. It wasn't a major blowout, but it wasn't a close game. Like Michigan
No,
State do anything. They cannot do anything last week, and they on top of the penalties they incurred in that game too. Yeah, it was hard. It was a hard
it
evening for them.
it should have the game should have been 31-13.
Yeah,
Then even if people were like the game was over at 24-7, that's when the game was over. At that point, the game was over. There wasn't enough time. Michigan was running the football, which is something that we said on the first show. I remember saying that they need to find a way to utilize both of those backs. And I said they
mm,
need to go off of yards. What did they go off of, you guys? Yards.
or
Marshall 101 and our boy Justice over 100 yards again. So come on, man. Y'all in the right place.
they learned. I really think they learned their lesson from the USC game, going away from the identity was made what made us great to just Chip and Sharon want to do what they want to do. They trying to have Bryce Underwood grow up too fast, in my opinion. Like he's young, he's a freshman, he's 18. Give him time. The best way he's going to develop is just hand the rock off to his running backs. When he need
Ideal
to,
situation.
when he need to make the throws, he'll make them.
It's an ideal situation, my brother. I mean, you just said it best. I think once we won the last game against Washington, and once people in the Michigan side started to realize what some of these commentators and analysts were saying, which was we are the youngest team in the Big Ten. So they are already looking at our season like it's a success, and Michigan fans are on the fence. So that kind of helped. And then you go into this game and you pull this game convincingly. So it really looks you can really view this team as a young core that's developing right in front of our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So the inconsistency is going to be more so at the quarterback. This is stuff that's by the books, man. I mean, this is when it's like starting a new job, being handed the keys, and it's on the job training. In that situation, you guys would expect mistakes. You guys would expect not to know because you haven't seen everything in front of your face. Just imagine this kid playing college football. The task is astronomical. And to see how he's come along, yes, he's a five-star talent, of course. Yes, the money, we all know these things. But we're all human beings at the same time. And he has to process everything. He has to go through it the first time. He has to know when I see this look, it's real. I'm looking at it right now as if I should do this, but really I should do that. So he's learning these things. We still have yet to see audibles at the line. There's a lot of things that we still need to see first. And to win ball games, as Don said, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Hmm. So yeah, so like I said, man, we're moving in the right angle, man. Like it just at this point, we just we got Purdue up this Saturday, and after that, the schedule looks kind of fair for us. Even Thanksgiving weekend, I really think we can beat Ohio State. I really
I'm with
believe.
you.
Like I
I'm
know
with
that's
you.
what you say.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I really think we can beat Ohio State. If our defense, man, we can just stay healthy. Our defense can, bro. They are coming into a hostile environment, man.
There you
Like
go. You just said it.
they,
If
look,
Bryce was on the road,
they
sorry to
haven't
cut you off.
they haven't played a solid defense on the road like that. And people say, "Oh, Illinois hasn't been tested like that."
And if you flip it, Michigan does not play them on the road. Key.
Hmm.
Michigan plays them at home.
We play them
Bryce
at home.
Bryce looks very comfortable at home. So that's the thing. If he was playing Ohio State year one guys, I would. That's why to the audience. That's why I'm so convicted in my selection. Is because I see that that is an advantage to him, getting off some of those freshman jitters in the last game of the year at the crib. That's important. If it was in Ohio State, I may think differently if I didn't see something that led me to believe that. But what I see and what Don sees is that we're running the football successfully. And
Hmm.
that is what me and Don were saying previously before this show and when we started this show, is that the Michigan run game is going to determine how we view Ohio State. This is way before we played a bunch of games. This is what the conversations me and Don were having, guys. We were talking about this and we were discussing this running game. So now that we're seeing this running game take place, that's why we feel so comfortable to have our picks. And now we see the defense playing the way that they're playing. If Bryce Underwood, I got a question for you. If how do you feel if Bryce Underwood gives the same performance that he put today? I mean, last Saturday. My man Marmar, what up, bro? What up, though? He puts the same performance that he put against State, right? And Marmar, you go ahead and jump back in on another comment with this. And my man Keegan, what up? Keegan, you too. Answer this question for me, all of you. If Bryce can give us exactly what he gave us against Michigan State, we're running the ball like we are, better than we were last year. Defense is playing. Yeah, we don't have Kenneth Grant or Mason Graham, but this version, not right now. Ohio State fans listening, not right now. Right now, I'm not saying that we're there, but at the end of the year, saying that this is a well improved defense. Would you all feel comfortable Bryce going in there 83 yards, a touchdown, something that Warren didn't do last year? 86 yards. We get 200 on the ground plus. Defense plays well. I don't. I'll take that. I don't know about you guys, but as a short end, I'll take that for what we have. Yes, I want better, but that's 10 yards better than what we had last year.
Hmm.
So you look at that. That's just. Of course, I don't want that, but that's what we're saying here. We're looking at everyone's shooting for this when we're just like, yo, just give us the bare minimum. That has never exceeded my expectations viewing the team last year to the team we got now. My thing was if we need to get better in these other areas because with a freshman quarterback, we have to be realistic. So that Michigan State game, that was good to see because I still see the team has a game plan around it. Keegan says, I kind of think the defense will win the game. There we go. He's thinking of something else than Bryce. People, see, I mean, that's key.
Exactly. Let's get to this game for this Saturday, man.
Let's
So,
go.
what's your confidence level? And everybody else in the chat, thank y'all for joining us, man. Put y'all questions in, and we'll put them on the screen. What's your confidence level in Michigan heading into this game? Are they peaking or just staying steady?
I think they are peaking um, overall. Of course, not in certain groups, not certain players, etc. But the offensive line, number one, because they had the longest route to go. Yes, the defense had one bad game and they struggled from play to play on a couple of times. But the defense overall was not too far from their ceiling. They're not too far from that. Whereas the offensive line, them getting mid level was a doubt. The fact that they've exceeded mid level now to go into a pretty good offensive line gives me the confidence to even have faith in Michigan going forward with this freshman quarterback and with those guys being young. That says a lot. The uh, the next the next phase of the game is the defense. You got players stepping out, players stepping in, putting in good numbers, doing good things. What do we got here? Shout out to Net. Playing a true freshman, you want to be able to win without asking him to be Superman. Focus on reps, not making mistakes, and let the game come to him.
That's it.
There we go, guys.
That's it.
The Net knows what he's talking about because that's you let the you as this is a team. And I know people get even with Ohio State, they need a team performance. They can't expect one player to win that game. It has to be a team performance, and that's what we bank on at Michigan. We rely on the team performance to win ball games, and that's what we preach. So everybody has to step up. But those are my two: offensive line and the defense. The offense, I'm not. No, they got a long way to go. They got a long way to go to reach. I'm talking. I've watched some of the greatest. We have watched some of the greatest college football offenses of all time, and I'm not even talking about the 2000s because everybody only thinks about the 2000s.
Hmm.
94 Penn State was one of the best offensive teams I've ever seen, and I loved it because they beat Ohio State like 60 something to whatever in Happy Valley. And Michigan lost to them in the Big House in a close game. It wasn't a blowout like the one in Happy Valley with that other team. It was a close fought game. Tyrone Wheatley went nuts. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see the progression of the offense. The other two, I'm not worried about. It's all about the offense and what they're going to do to step up in this game and play better than they played last week.
All right. So right now I'm sitting about a solid 8 out of 10 for like far as peaking goes. Like I'm there peaking, but like my logic behind it is like we've been playing. The thing is we've been playing some disciplined football. In case you guys don't know, like we don't get penalized as much, which is good. Defense looks sharp, as Pengame said. Offensive line, they getting in the rhythm. You know, they gelling together okay. The chemistry's clicking. But I don't think they are peaking yet. I think we holding something in the tank right now for the last stretch of the season. We already know. We've been talking about it. The game. So I think this week is pretty much just handle your business, do your job type of situation this week against Purdue. Rather than
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's gonna be a statement week. Like we beat Michigan State. Last week was a statement week, statement game. We went into East Lansing, beat Michigan State. Everybody thought Jonathan Smith was gonna kind of turn the tide for the Spartans, and no, he lost. This is what second loss being there. He has yet to beat Michigan. So yeah, but let's get to this next question. Does Purdue have any realistic path to make this a competitive game, or do you think this one is over before kickoff?
Well, I'm gonna explain why first, and then I'll go into the answer of the question to kind of switch it up for people to see the versatility that your boy displays. All right, Purdue. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I looked at the stats. Shout out to Net. Thank you, brother. Please like and subscribe. Go blue. Let's do it. The
Yes, sir.
quarterback's around 1,400 yards. They play two quarterbacks. The other quarterback is somewhere around 400 yards. I'm seeing a lot of interceptions. Uh, Potentially, yes. But Link is still a young player as well. So I've been hearing, some of the experts, some of the people that are closer to the team saying that Link would actually get moved into one of the guard spots with the way that Frazier has played. So the question of who's better doesn't really apply if that's the logic that they're going to put by playing both and moving Link and that kind of, you know, Frazier, yeah, he could have the potential to be better than him at that position. But if they're both playing, because Link's a big guy, man. Link is
Mm,
a big dude. Dude's like 6'8". Dude, Link is big, man. He's a big guy. He's not no small boy. So moving him, that might work better than what we're seeing now. If Frazier steps up and does what he's supposed to do. But let's keep it moving. Let's stay on topic. And what was the question again? Sorry to get distracted for a second, but that was a damn good question.
yeah. The question was does Purdue have any realistic path to make this a competitive game, or is this one
No,
over?
it's over. Yeah, my fault. I'm back. The quarterbacks have interceptions. Um, I didn't see very much production from the receivers. I think the leading receiver has 400 plus yards. Barely any sack activity and barely any turnovers from their defensive secondary or their defense as a whole. I think there was like 9 sacks. Michigan. Come on, man. Come
Mm,
on, man. This team is at the front edge of a serious gauntlet in their schedule. They may have one of the hardest schedules in the Big Ten. They've already played Illinois, who was ranked 22nd at the time. They had another tough game against a team that may not be ranked, but they're a good team. And of course, they lost. Then this week, they have Michigan, they have Ohio State, they have Washington, and then they have their rivalry game against Indiana. That's a very tough schedule, man. I'm glad we got them at the front end because they're already 2-5. And a desperate team like that, which I was saying on another show, can pull a game out if you take them lightly. So I'm
mm,
just glad we're catching them after Michigan State because I predicted that they'll pull out at least one of these games because you can't get no worse, man. But
exactly.
not against us.
Yeah. Look, man, they're a young team too. They got heart, man. I give them. That's all I'm gonna give them. But the thing is with Purdue, man, just think of the talent that they have and the talent we have, man. It's a huge gap. It's night and day. The
And their
only way,
coach just got
yeah,
fired.
yeah. The
New
only way
coach,
that what you say,
new coach. Their coach got fired recently. They have
yeah,
a coach that hasn't been there very long, so he's trying to go to a losing program and flip that culture. He's going to
yeah,
need some time and some money.
yeah. They've been. I heard they trying to politic Drew Brees, but that's a long stretch right there within itself. And
Yeah,
the only way this game stays close if we start getting sloppy and play not and going away from playing Michigan football. Like I really think we can get a couple of turnovers, but we gotta stay negative. We cannot. Bryce Underwood cannot throw an interception in this game. Do not get them any type of momentum. We cannot fumble the ball either. So we gotta play mistake free football. But we're this team is so deep, man, and more physical. So again, I'm not really concerned too much. But the main thing out of this game is let's come out of this game with everybody healthy. Like we cannot keep, affording injuries. All right. The next question I have: which matchup matters the most? our O line versus Purdue front seven, or Michigan's receiver versus their weak secondary. I had to put that one in.
O line. I'm gonna
they
go
they
with the
O
short
line
thing.
they O line versus their front seven.
Our O line or theirs?
Our O line versus their front seven.
Our O line. I'm gonna go with the short thing first. I'm gonna go with the short thing because, say for instance, that passing game is just struggling a little bit.
Mm,
I at least can bank on that running game. So let me see the offensive line set the tone for the whole team and go out there and take care of business. Let them open up those holes and let those guys run through. And then the wide receiver core. This is your opportunity. This is your week. This is your week to shut up everybody talking. Everybody talking. If I'm Samaj more than my brother, I want to come out there this week and make a statement, man. I want to make a statement. I want to get everybody off my back. I want to go out and put up a performance that's going to shut everybody the hell up. So let's go out here. Yeah, Frazier is undersized. He is undersized, but he's a legacy kid. Uh, he has the pedigree, and that's why he's playing right now, and because he has what it takes upstairs. So yeah, he's a skilled big man that needs to put on weight, but that's expected as a freshman. Um, yeah, Michigan's offensive line for me on that. On that, what do you got?
I'm watching the receiver secondary matchup, man.
I like that. I like that you chose something different from me because it gives the audience a well-rounded perspective.
Yeah, because the thing is, Purdue's pass defense is the bottom of the bottom of the country right now. They're ranked the lowest in the country. All right. Um, they give up a lot of chunk plays and they struggle with spacing. So I went in and I watched some tape of them this past the games, a couple of games for them this season. This is a chance for our passing game to show up. So if they want Underwood to get these reps and have him get a little bit confidence in passing the ball, this is the great game to do that. But at the same time, don't force anything.
Mm,
Let us get a comfortable lead first, and then we can kind of because once the run game open, man, we can throw
there
he
you
can throw
go.
still, man.
There
So
you
the O
go.
line, I think the O line's gonna hold up fine. I just want to see if the pass and the attack can open things up and build confidence
And
before
you're saying once everything settles into this game and we want and now every all the jitters are out. The play calling is at a comfortable rate. And now the receiving core is looking over there at the secondary and they're like, okay, it's this time.
yeah.
That's when the moment calls for them people. The Don is saying they need to deliver. They need to deliver. When the moment calls for them to perform, they need to deliver, and that goes to what I just explained. It's time to shut people up. That's the mentality that we need to see out there from them. This is your game to do it.
Yeah, that's it, man. Just build that confidence up because we're a month away from the game, so we got to kind of, have Bryce, especially like you said with Samaj and them, man. Samaj, he got to look. We need this should be also a confidence building type game right here, man, for us. So
Mm-hmm.
all I got to say on that. So who's the one Michigan player you expect to see to set the tone early in this game?
It's gonna be Justice. Yeah, I'm going with Justice.
Okay.
He's gonna set the tone because he's gonna be if he's playing. I haven't, I don't know. I'm saying that with expecting him to play. So Justice setting the tone, getting everything off right, and then which goes to what we were saying about the receivers. So in order to get to that point, our running back needs to set the tone by the offensive line doing what they're doing.
Okay. Man, I'm gonna say, man, I'm gonna say Ernest Hosman is gonna have a good game this game.
That's a really good pick. That's a real good pick. I like that pick. I
Like
like
even
it.
he's going by, like he's getting better and better and better. He's now I'm big on him and Barham and Moore. Like those three guys, man, they're like the heart and soul of our front seven. So like again with Hosman, man, I really think he's gonna have a great game this game. So
Yeah, I really would like to see him have a good game.
yeah,
I really would.
because
Those boys are balling.
yeah, because Barham been kind of banged up a little bit. So it's like I think I saw him a little bit this past Saturday, but we didn't see him a lot. So, but he has stepped up since Barham has been kind of taking less snaps or whatever. So, all right. What's one thing we cannot afford to do if we want to stay playoff sharp, man? I know this is the Purdue game we talking about, but
Yeah, this is right on the money. Stuff
patience
like
if
what we're talking about right now.
uh,
Stuff like what we're talking about right now. So I said the question was right on the money because it's the attention to detail. It's attention to detail. In order to be the last team standing, those teams have great attention to detail. Those teams can execute and those teams can adjust at the line and they can manipulate and they can dictate. So that's what those top pedigree teams have that are playoff bound. That's what we had when we were playoff bound. So we already have a blueprint and we already know what we need, and that's clearly what we need because that would put us up there with the upper echelons of college football.
mm-hmm. Man, just it's like you said, win out. We have to win out. We cannot afford to lose another game. There's teams that will be in the playoffs that's going to have two losses. That's
Hmm.
just how the chips going to fall.
Oh, hold on. There's potential for some one-loss teams, but not in power four. There's some potential. There's going to be a lot. Michigan needs to take care of business. Let's put it like that. Because the debate, what I'm looking at when I see some of these teams, the debate, what do we have here as far as Georgia Tech 7-0? They don't even have a loss. ACC, yeah, you feel me? Like if they're really doing what they're doing, they can win out, man. Yeah, Louisville, got to win, and things of that nature. But Georgia Tech's pretty good. I remember watching them play against Kansas State last year in Ireland and thought, yo, coach over there is coaching.
Brent
He's
Key,
coaching.
yeah, Brent Key, he's a great. He's under that Nick Saban tree.
See, and I'm not even a Georgia Tech fan. They're like I was telling Marmar about the guy for who's it? I always New Mexico coaching. Dude's coaching.
Oh,
I
yeah,
see that type of stuff.
and that guy, that coach right there, he's not gonna be in New Mexico long. He
Oh,
got
he's got nah, he's up out of there. Get him somewhere with a better budget, man. That guy's gonna be a winner. Watch out for him. Watch out for him. But yeah, what we got here? No,
it's not
that exactly.
it's not
Exactly.
about
Attention to detail.
we're looking at what's in front of us for sure.
Yes.
But at the same time, you still got to look at the trajectory of what could be.
Yes, that's why we can't take our foot off the gas because there's still teams that have not lost, and there's still potential that there's going to be some two loss teams, and then you got some three loss teams. What we have in our favor is if we can pull out the rest of our schedule, we'll have a win against the number one team in the country if they
Yeah,
don't stumble. If they don't stumble before then, so we actually need to hope that these guys take care of business on their end as well.
even
Because
if they, even if because we're gonna need some help. I'm not even gonna lie to
yeah,
you.
oh
We
yeah,
gonna need
yeah,
teams. in the top 20 to lose, and we talking about losing at least 2 games for us to kind of get back into that. We at the end of the day, we control our own destiny for sure. But to make it better, just to add the icing on the cake, we gotta have some of the teams got to lose too. Teams ahead of us got to fall so we can like kind of climb up.
And the beauty of it is the way that it's designed, they're gonna fall. We
Hmm.
just saw Lane Kiffin. We just saw old Lane. Yo, this guy was talking to me saying that we couldn't stop their defense. That's what I like to see, coach.
And
That's
Bama,
what I like to see.
and Bama,
Football.
and Bama almost lost to South Carolina this week. They should have
I
lost.
watched I watched that game and you know what? Shout out to the Alabama fan that came up to me and said roll tide in security check. Shout out to him because he was ready to run the guy out of town. He, as well as other Alabama fans, especially the one that was on Paul Feinbaum talking about players cutting DoorDash at 2 in the morning. Yo, dude, stop worrying about what players are doing on their spare time. But saying that these fans knew that players were ordering DoorDash at 2 a.m. Said the guy had no control of his program. It was a total muck. And to get the guy out of town, the guy hasn't lost a game since. And what did I tell that guy at that airport? I said, I like the boy. I said, as far as I'm concerned, he's the only one there that's been to a national championship game. And I left the conversation at that, and the guy hasn't lost a game since. So yeah, we can't lose. I mean, I know Alabama struggled a little bit, but they're pulling those games out, and they're still young in his coaching tenure. So those are program boosters, and that's why I really think we just need to survive in advance as well. We kind of need to take a page out of Alabama's book and just win the game. And but I will say this about Alabama: they're going to lose the game coming up. So that's why I love the way it's set up because teams are going to lose. Georgia Tech has to play against Georgia at the end of the year.
I'm calling Georgia Tech to win that game. I'm just gonna
Remember the game. Remember the game last year.
no, but that thing would
Who does not remember the Georgia Tech game last
that was
year?
that was my favorite college football game last year. I'm not even
Yo, that
that
was
was
one
the
of the best
national
college football.
playoffs. The playoff games were kind of meh, except for the game that Cam Skaterbo played. He pretty much put the team on his back and they kind of
Yeah, that
lost.
was a beautiful performance against Texas. That was a beautiful performance against Texas. Definitely, definitely. But that Georgia Tech Georgia game, yo, that game took the cake, man. It took the cake. So I'm looking forward to that. That's why I'm saying I think these teams are gonna the way it's set up. Somebody got to lose. It's
Hmm.
just what will sting Michigan is, but somebody won, and that team, as well as some other teams, may hold serve to take a tennis term. They may hold serve, and that may have Michigan on the outside looking in or barely in. So business has to be taken care of because Michigan's right there. They're right there. They have no margin for error. One loss and this is over. It's done.
And not that man, I think also just if we can win the Big Ten, I know that's a lot of people not looking at that neither. If we can win our conference, we definitely in there.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm just saying at the moment of after the Ohio State game, you still
And
have a Big Ten championship game. Yes, now you're really talking. Now, see the Ohio State game is the get in. The Big Ten championship game. Now that's seeding. That's where the seeding starts to fall in play. So it's really an extended playoffs. The conference championship is also uh, de facto playoff round one.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions for the evening, man. We're gonna
Oh
kind of,
man, that's it.
hey,
Wow.
let's keep on going. Then you want to keep going?
Yeah, we can keep going, man. It's just everything was so transparent and so authentic, and even stretching into other teams. That's what I like doing the most because that's why he said we could definitely win the Big Ten. Indiana doesn't have depth. When I watch Indiana, I'm not okay. I don't like teams, and this is me personally, y'all. So don't look at this as like, oh, this is gonna happen. No, this is my personal. That's how I come off. I like to see some struggles, man. I like to see some struggles. So it makes me it just leads me to believe Oregon barely won at Penn State. Yeah, Penn State, I think Oregon took their heart and soul. But before they took their heart and soul, Penn State they were in the fight. Oregon loses to Indiana. Not to take nothing away from Indiana, they're playing exceptional football. Got to give those guys credit, but at the same time, it's not that they're not a good team. It's not that. It's just when you get slapped in the mouth and you haven't had any test to measure what happens after that throughout a season. I've watched some of the best teams in high school and college, and not personally playing, but watching professionals. Not matter of fact, the number one example for that, you guys, is the Patriots, the '07 Patriots. Yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
played the Giants before. They played the Giants before, but the Giants weren't in playoff mode. So let's look at that team. They run through the season, put up astronomical numbers, receiving records that probably won't be broken unless Jamar Chase can get his damn quarterback Burrow for more than a damn half of a season. Then we might see some of these records get broken on the receiving end. But anyway, they lost. They did not win the championship because they got punched in the mouth. And that's what worries me about Indiana. It just is not me hating on them because I'm a Michigan fan. I'm a college football fan first. And it just teams like that get punched in the mouth, man. And it's usually later in the season because they've advanced so damn far. So, I mean, what? Miami, dynasty teams. We're talking USC, dynasty teams. They got punched in the mouth. And Texas happened with Vince Young putting on one of the best college football performances. Miami, I hate to say this, but we're talking history here. Ohio State comes in. Yes, Miami should have won. Yes, they should have won that game at the begin before regulation, but Ohio State won the game, and we got to give Ohio State credit for winning that game because they punched them in the mouth. And that's what can happen to Indiana because they've yet to beat Ohio State. Michigan had a bewildered offense last year, and they damn near beat them at home. So I got to see something from Indiana. Yeah, they're a better team, but I need to see them get punched in the mouth. And what you got?
About Indiana, I'm like, yeah, I agree with you on that. You know, at the same time, it's like, yeah, they haven't really played nobody yet for real. So
No,
we got
nah.
we just gonna see. Like again, man, like that's why I don't like this 12 playoff system because they're hyping a lot of these teams up. Thinking that they could, run the tables. And that's the thing. Like, do you guys even have the depth to sustain playing against SEC teams? You know, old stalwart. And Indiana been in the Big Ten for a long time. They have, but I'm talking about far as like they just now have
Relevant.
a team. We
Yeah,
talking
you're
about
talking
we
relevant.
talking
Yeah.
about Big Ten football, big well known Big Ten football teams like Michigan, the school down south, Iowa. Like people don't look. Iowa still got a good defense. I don't care what anybody say. Like they are still a
Oh yeah.
physical. So yeah, man,
Getting a win in their stadium at night. Good luck.
it's hard to play there.
Good luck. It's one of the toughest places to play in college football, man. They had a powerhouse program in the '90s. So yeah, and that legacy hasn't fallen too far as far as Iowa. You know they're going to have a good defense. You know they're going to have good tight ends. You know they're going to have good offensive linemen. This used to be Nebraska as far as the expectation and the product on the field. That used to be Nebraska.
Hmm.
So yeah, so with Tommy Frazier, Brooke Behringer, and all those boys, Lawrence Phillips, that squad. But yeah, Indiana. But I also want to pay attention to the SEC. So let's stay in SEC country for a second because I watch the SEC really close, and they play some damn good football. Damn good football. Those games, that Oklahoma game, Ole Miss was one for the ages, which we kind of went into a little bit about that. That was a coaching that was that coaching performance going on during that game was on point between Brett Venables and Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Just like the getting on the officials, making sure momentum didn't sway at the times where they had an opportunity to oppose it, staying on their players. Lane Kiffin, trash talking other players, like totally involved in the game. And that is just the nature of coaching that it gets so underestimated. And when you look at a coach, you should say that guy's locked in. And the kid should be looking at him like, I want to be that because that's the aura that they give off. So that game to me was sensational to watch. The South Carolina game, it kind of was disappointing because South Carolina's quarterback really was left out there to dry.
Mm.
All he was to really do was run the ball toward the end of the game, and the kid was playing so well. He was a guaranteed 4, 5, 6 yards a pop. Uh, he just didn't really have too many, receiving targets. Guy played his heart out though. Could have had a big win, and the environment in Columbia is incredible, man. The environment in that place is incredible. Ever since I was a child watching them play, they have a great environment, especially playing at night over there in Columbia. So to get a win out of there, that was big for Alabama because they should have lost that game, like you said.
Yeah,
So
they should have
what you see in the SEC that caught your eyes this week?
Oklahoma losing.
That was the big one. That was the game. That was the one, man. I
Because
say the same.
that loss against, and I'm just looking at it as a Michigan fan,
Yeah,
like,
that's the one.
because Oklahoma, this is what they second loss this season.
Yeah, they lost to Texas.
Yep, and I, because I have a friend that's a Sooners fan, and I told him, I'm like, look, man, because he was so happy when they beat us, and I'm like, look, y'all got to beat Texas. I said, if y'all can beat Texas, y'all should be able to be in the playoffs. But now they lost to Texas, but they lost late. Now, yes, Ole Miss is a top five program
It's
right
gonna
now.
be tough for Oklahoma. They got more tough games on the schedule,
Yeah,
and they're gonna be on the road too. They've had a lot of games at home on the front end. They're about to be on the road, so yeah, they needed that game against Ole Miss. They needed that game.
hmm yeah, and that's the thing. Like right now, it's like Oklahoma could still, if they just keep those two losses, they could probably still make it. But then it'll be like, okay, Michigan comes up in the conversation. The end of the season, we only lost 2 games and we lost to Oklahoma. So it's like they're gonna probably end up getting the nod to Oklahoma because
They beat us in head to head. But the only thing that will save Michigan is if Michigan's a conference champ,
yep,
and they value the conference championship more. So that's where not only winning against Ohio State, but actually winning the Big Ten championship solidifies your seeding or solidifies your qualification into the playoffs. So Michigan, we're not out to like nothing is. This has to be week to week approach. Cliche as it sound like a dang player or a coach, but as a fan, that's got to be your mentality. You cannot look ahead. You have to stay dialed in each game. Even if the experts are saying, oh, this should be this, or Vegas is saying this, that's not what you want to go by as a fan. You want to look at the development, the small, intricate details of how the team is operating and functioning. You want to listen to the coach, and you want to listen to the media that's talking to the coach, that's covering the team because some of them are calling it straight, and some of them I like to listen to the people that are criticizing the team, the guys that are loving the team down to not use a better phrase are they're not. Yeah, I want to hear because if you're around the team, I want to know what's really going on. I don't want to just hear whatever. But you can put the two together and form your own opinion, guys. But I see enough out there to justify each angle. But I'm seeing improvement in the areas that needed. Sharon Moore being fired and all this stuff. Those are some of the things that you were hearing in these circles. So
yep,
and we're in a real time basis. So no one's saying that those guys weren't justified for feeling what they're feeling, but I like to hear those things. Is what I meant by that. I like to hear that because that lets you know the tone of each game. The tone of each game. What is the pressure on the game? Because people think this is Madden and you just pick teams and play. These are human beings out there, and you want to know the atmosphere. You want to know the psychological edge. You want to know all that because that's like a clutch moment comes down and you can't deliver because you can't see you getting psyched out. So we're seeing Michigan operating on where we need to be in certain areas, and we see room for growth. But we don't play Ohio State next week.
mm-hmm,
So until then, each team in your way, and I do mean in your way, has to be the main objective. And that's all Michigan needs to worry about. Michigan is not thinking about anything else but Purdue in the next game. And when we get to that point, then we can start talking. But right now, it needs to be game to game. Like Don said, everything is on the table, week to week basis, though.
yep.
Yeah, but we can go ahead and get ready to wrap it up, man. It was a great time being on here with y'all again on the second one. Thanks for everybody that was tuning in. Continue to tune in. We will definitely be back. Hopefully, the turnover buffs will be broken out again. We keep getting these turnovers. I'll keep wearing them. And Don, go ahead, baby. Let us know what you got to say, man.
Hey man, thank y'all again for supporting us, man. Keep supporting us. Um, we're gonna try to start having more guests on to kind of give us more of a rebuttal because
Yeah, that's a go.
we just it's good to have people on, it's a little ops on, like the kids say, to
Hey,
kind of
I have a perfect one for
yeah.
Ohio State. For
Uh,
Ohio State, I have the perfect one for that one.
and that's
You know,
the game out.
yeah.
But we'll definitely look into that though. But y'all keep supporting us every Wednesday night at 10:15. All right, we'll be here. So Until next time, man. Valiant boys, man. We about to be out of here. And hey, as the old coach said, man, those who stay will become champions. We out.
Go blue.
I told y'all. Bad Mike told you. Time